I've been waiting forever to finally start seeing some visuals for the episode, and now it's happening. So we will be talking about thumbnailing, which for those who don't know, thumbnails are fast, rough sketches to see how well your shot choices and compositions work before adding detail. After getting the screenplay done, I jumped into thumbnailing. I've watched one of Taniko videos How to Storyboard Smarter, where he talks about thumbnailing storyboards. But honestly, because I tend to rush into things, I just copied what I saw on screen without fully understanding the difference between thumbnails, panels, and storyboards. While using this method of what I thought was storyboarding, I was so amazed how fast I was pulling all this out. I took my script and, for each page, drew a rectangle box next to the text to sketch out my panels. Each page took about 1.5 hours, and in total, I spent around 20 hours thumbnailing. In this stage, I mainly focused on the composition of the scenes, turning the screenplay's actions into visuals. I also paid a lot of attention to character positions and consistency in the camera shots. This way, it's easier to tell who's talking just by their placement in the frame. I tried to keep transitions smooth, too. For example, if a scene ends with a character in the center of the frame, the next scene should start with them in the center as well. Little details like that make everything feel more natural, even if we don't consciously notice them. I like this method because it limits how many drawings I can fit on a page. Since the sketches are loose and not overly detailed, I can focus on drawing only the most important scenes, the ones that move the story forward. But here's the issue. This isn't real storyboarding. I treated it like it was, which led to some headaches later. Since the sketches are right next to the script, it's easy to understand because the written text fills in the gaps where my panels lack detail. I'll dive deeper into these issues in the next video, but for now, let's stick to thumbnailing. So, with the retelling, one of the big issues I had was rushing. It's so hard to slow down when there's just so much I want to do. I just naturally want to get everything done fast, so taking my time feels almost impossible. That's why I think the best thing for me is to plan out my time so I can let other people review my work at every stage. Here's what I've been doing. After I finish a stage, like scripting, I spend the same amount of time reviewing and re-editing based on feedback from my manager or beta readers. It's kinda like a forced slowdown. First, I have to wait for their feedback, and second, they catch stuff I totally missed because I was rushing. I know I'll probably never not rush things, so having other people help me is basically my way of slowing down. Thing I noticed while working on the panels was repetition. Some scenes repeated the same message. Drawing redundant panels felt like such a waste of time. During this stage, I ended up cutting a lot of the script. Like, a lot. If a scene didn't add anything interesting or felt repetitive, it was gone. My beta readers also told me they were bored at the start of the story, which pushed me to delete even more. All this rewriting and revising has made me respect writers so much more. How do they take a blank page and turn it into something that makes sense and connects with people? It blows my mind. That said, my manager pointed out that some calmer scenes needed to stay to balance the pacing. At first, I was hesitant because I thought the story needed to be entertaining at all times. Funny enough, it kinda defeats the whole point of doing the retelling because the original had no space to breathe either. But after adding a hook at the beginning, those slower scenes felt less boring because the hook grabbed the audience's attention. And if you already know Blue's story, which is, like, 99% of the people following me, try guessing what the hook is this time. Spoiler alert, it's super easy to figure out. I still try to make the calmer part to be less boring. I don't even want to think about how many versions of that one scene of blue and lavender in a car I went through. With all the rewrites, I had a bunch of unused panels. I hate wasting time, so I decided to recycle some of them. Why draw something new from scratch if I already have something similar that didn't get used? A little tweaking, and boom, problem solved. My manager offered to help with the panels for this episode, but it made me rethink my process. I tend to rush through things to finish them quickly, but that pace isn't sustainable for someone with other responsibilities. Plus, once I started thumbnailing, I realized I didn't like parts of the script anymore. Thumbnailing changed so much of the script and deleted so many scenes that I'm hesitant to let someone else help during this stage. It feels unfair to have someone spend hours on thumbnails only for me to decide they don't work. I've learned a lot. That's what keeps me going with Blue Story. Sorry I don't have a better way to end this log. The thumbnailing and storyboards kinda put me down to be honest, but we are still driving So yeah, that's the end. I hope you enjoy my ramble.